Welcome, folks, to the Week 5 edition of Commissioner's Couch. Got almost a quarter of the year, well, a third of the year is definitely done. So, of the regular season. Our first week with bye weeks. And, the league seems like it's getting shaken up a little bit. There were some upsets, even though it's kind of crazy to say, 4 weeks in. But yeah, there were some upsets, and there were some games that went the way that completely thought they would. Speaking of which, let's get right into these scores for last week. Starting with the battle of the gym rats. We got Team Campbell versus Any Given Sunday. And Dennis won that game 291 to Paul's 203. Dennis' high score was Matt Forte, and Paul's high score was Andrew Luck with 118 points. The rest of Paul's team just stunk up the joint. And Dennis had, Dennis had the better overall team. So right now, Dennis is 2-2, and Paul is 1-3 for right now. Next game we had was Team Beasley versus Booty Butt Cheeks Darren. And DJ pulled off the upset just as I think I predicted that. Maybe we had to go back last week and look again, but I think I predicted that DJ was going to win. And he won 286.5 to 245.5. DJ's high score was Breezes with 99.5 points, and Fawn's high score was the Roethlisberger with 98.5. So, we see what teams are, or what owners are managing their teams a little bit better, with the bye weeks going on. I think that bye week with Jay Cutler, that kind of, Roethlisberger 98.5, that's good. So, I know he's missing AP. That hurt. And I think it was another running back that Vaughn had out on the bye week. Irregardless, next game we had, Vaughn's 3-1 and DJ's 2-2. The next game we had was Team Soul Glow versus Team Psychology 101. Jared versus Vail, the two Philly fans. Jared won that game to move to 4-0, 299.5 to Vail's 227. Jared's high score was Matt Ryan with 77.5 points. And Vail's high score was DeMarco Murray on the bench with 70. He wasn't on the bench? I thought he was on the bench. Gore was on the bench. Sorry. Apologize about that. Like I said, Jared moved to 4-0. Vail's now 2-2. So, the next game we had the Beehive, Brittany, versus Steel Curtain Brandon. And Brittany won that game 296 to 159. Brittany's high score was Matt Stafford with 104 against the New York bum-ass Jets. And Brandon's high score was CJ Spiller with 37 points. And of course, with that score, Brandon gets Sacco of the Week this week. And then our last matchup, excuse me, we had your Commish, Fuck Affleck, versus his oldest son, Team TBE Wallace, and had to whoop up on that nigga Craig. Score was 314 to Craig's 279. My highest scoring player was Phillip Rivers with 123 points against the Jaguars. And Craig's high score was Colin Kaepernick with 79. And also, as being the only team that cracked 300 this week, I'm Team of the Week. With that, I get to choose the pictures. So, I moved to 2-2, and Craig is now 1-3. Now, before we go into the matchups and predictions for next week and the trophies, I would like to announce what the results were for our poll. I believe that there were only 6 people that voted, correct? Right. Only 6 people who voted. It's completely anonymous. I'm not sure who the other 4 people were that didn't vote, but off the top of my head, I'm going to say Dennis didn't vote, DJ didn't vote, Brandon didn't vote, and Phil didn't vote. So, you didn't vote. Sorry about that. Gave everybody a week. So, the results are... It's a tie. Yep, that's right. It's a tie. 3 votes for it shouldn't be a score change, and 3 votes for yes that kneel down should count as points or as a negative yards and or rushing attempts. So with that, with it being tied up, the commissioner will give his vote and it will change. And let me go ahead and, just to make it official, like a referee's whistle, I'm going to make my vote. And I vote no. Oh, really? I gotta sign in. I think I just saw it. I think the votes have changed. Did I just tie it up? Let's see. We might have had a late vote get in, folks. No, we didn't. I was the last vote, and I voted no. So, with that, there will be some adjustments to people's scores. We'll see how that goes. So, for the matchups for this week, well, for the trophies. Last week, we had, for Team of the Week, I won, so I'll be picking the picture. And then for Sacco, Brandon's going to get Sacco. Even though I would like to give some insight on the Brandon's thing, on that whole thing, is that a couple of the teams, the top teams in the league, such as the Vaughns and the Jarrett's 4-0, Vaughn's 3-1. He's the only 3-win team, even though that's about to change because of the rules. I'm looking at the standings. If you go look at the standings, you click on standings, and you go look at the points at the bottom, you'll see there's, it'll show everybody's record in each division, East and West. And then at the bottom, it'll show, it's like a thing with 6 columns, 7 columns. It has the team owners' names. One of the columns is PF, another one PA, home, away, division, street. PF stands for points for, which means when you look at it, that means that points that team scored all year. And PA is points against. Now, what that means, points against, means how many points that team scored against that team. And a couple things I wanted to point out is that although Brandon is 1-3, he leads the league in points against, because there have been 1,243 points scored against Brandon. The next person who's had the most points scored against them is Craig with 1,103. So, that's a lot of points scored against him. It's kind of hard to win. Although Brandon has the lowest amount of points scored this year. And then the person right behind him is Craig. Vaughn and Jarrett, neither one of them have had 1,000 points scored against them. Vaughn's his team has had 978 points scored against them, and Jared's is 981. Now, Jared leads the league in points with 1,154, which is good for Jared because now he's faced some of the weaker teams, and also he's had some of his best weeks. With Vaughn is the second highest scorer in the league. He's scored 1,113, and like I said, so that means he's put up some points, but also he hasn't played anybody who's put up any points. So he's actually had the easier part of his league. Now, if you look at the schedules, the way the schedules go is that, you know, they recycle towards the end of the year. Whoever you played at the beginning of the year, you'll play them again. Okay? So towards the end of the year, Vaughn and Jared, they'll probably be facing easier teams unless those teams actually like step their game up. I mean, so I just say that to say, just because you're 1-3, 2-2, don't be discouraged because, I mean, nobody's defeated, like completely defeated. Everybody has a win, but don't be discouraged because you know, those people who are at the bottom, you've had a lot of teams. You've played a lot of tough teams. So I'm going to go into the scores, my predictions for week 5. Now, oh, of course, y'all want me to get a trash talking award. I get a trash talking award to Jared for his little rant he went on about me or whatever. I mean, about Craig. That was funny as shit. And then he kind of tried to attack me, but what is, nigga? Now, we will start with, oh man, there's some good matchups this week. Whew, some good ones. We'll start with all our 1-3 teams. Well, our 2 1-3 teams. First, Brandon. Brandon Steel Curtain goes up against Paul any given Sunday this week. Paul is projected to score 226 to Brandon's 247. I'm going to go with ESPN on this one and say Brandon gets his first win. Only because Paul's, the times that he's won, he didn't score a lot of points. He's not a high scorer. You know, Paul's not really a threat. I don't think he has that many threats at running back. And then our other 1-3 team, Craig, Team TBE Wallace, goes up against my wife, Mrs. Commish, the Beehive. And I'm actually going to predict that my wife is going to whoop my oldest son like he stole something from him. ESPN actually has Brittany losing. Craig is going to projected to score 280 points to Brittany's 266. Now, that all hinges because I don't think that...
you have to pick up the defense.
Yeah, Brittany, I don't think she has everybody. She only has 8 people playing right now, so I don't think she really set her lineup yet. I mean, just like Craig. But also, I think that's because Craig has he has Russell Wilson starting against the Redskins. Oh my gosh, Brittany's gonna win. She got Matthew Stafford playing against Buffalo. That's a blowout. I got Brittany winning that game like shit. Now, on to our 2-2 teams. We have Team Psychology Travell versus Team Beasley Devon. Vaughn's projected to score 306. That is rare that anybody on a Tuesday is projected to score 300 points on Tuesday. That's rare. That's the first time I've ever seen that in our league. Vale's projected to score 249. I'm sorry, Vale. I have to go with Vaughn on this one, only because Vaughn's going to play he's going to play Ben Roethlisberger against the Jaguars. And he's going to, if he follows the trend of the rest of the quarterbacks that have played the Jaguars this week, then there's no chance Vale's going to win. But at the same time, it's just something about Ben Roethlisberger to where he just is I don't know, it's just something where that dude is like scary. He's scary. I've had him on a couple of my fantasy leagues before, and it's like, it'll be like, I think one year he was just like great. I think that was the last year. Was it the last year Hines was there? Or was it the year after Hines left? It was the first year. It was the last year Mike Wallace was there. And it was just like, man, Ben Roethlisberger was a fucking beast. And then it's just been like, after that, it's just been like, oh, he got injured. And, you know, he just would throw a whole bunch of picks or get sacked a bunch of fucking times. And it would just be like, oh, I'll throw a whole bunch of incompletions. But, I don't know. Ben Roethlisberger's scary. But I mean, I still have Vaughn. Me personally, I still have Vaughn winning that game, only because he has Cam Newton and what's his backup quarterback? EJ Manuel.
And Eli.
And he got Eli. Mm-hmm. I thought Craig had Eli. He got EJ Manuel. No, that's why I say that, because Craig picked up like 12 quarterbacks in the draft. Wow, Val. Yeah, he got EJ Manuel and Eli. I mean, I don't know. Eli did go off last week. It depends. It all depends. You know, even though Val did have Eli and Eli was on the bench. Who would have known? Who would have known? But, I mean, I still like Vaughn's Ben Roethlisberger versus Val's Eli or Cam Newton. Because Cam, he's just been having a bad week this year. I mean, a bad year this year. It's not really. He's not the Cam Newton of old. Only because he coming off of an injury and he trying to come back. You know, to a team where I feel like they rushed him back only because he felt like he had to prove something this year. And then also, it didn't help that D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart are both hurt. On top of Mike Tolbert, and then, you know, he got a core of rookie receivers, even though, you know, he got a beast as one of his receivers is a beast, Kelvin Benjamin. He is a beast. He drops a lot of passes, but, I mean, not a lot of passes, he drops some passes. Our next matchup is Booty Butt Cheeks, who's 2-2, and Team Campbell, who's 2-2, DJ versus Dennis. And I'm actually going to go with Dennis. Let me pull up this team. I'm sorry, I have to, because I don't really know. I know Dennis picked up Cousins, which is looking shaky, and then I can't remember. I think DJ has Teddy. I know he drafted Teddy Bridgewater, but I can't remember if he still has Teddy Bridgewater. But still, he got Drew Brees. So yeah, he's got Kirk Cousins, but. He's got Kirk Cousins. Who is this? Dennis Romo. Romo's your backup quarterback, right? Yes, Rick. Romo is my backup quarterback. You still have Romo. Okay. He's playing Houston. And
what was that?
Wow. What was because that's tough. And Kirk Cousins is playing Seattle this week on Monday. On Monday. And you know them boys gonna show up. I'm sorry. I really want to root. I want to say Dennis will win only because his team. Like Dennis got a hard team. These are his players. You got reliable Matt Forte. He picked up Ashiata, who's like a good pickup. Not like a running back 1 or even maybe he's like a running back 2-3. He got Julio, which is like a definite start. Edelman is like Edelman is only because I think that Kansas City exposed New England last night, only because like all you have to do is double Gronk and then shut Edelman down, and they can't do anything. So it depends on, because Belichick got a lot of spies, so it's like depending on how good his agency is this week, they might have a strategy going into Cincinnati, even though Cincinnati's secondary is tough. And then Dennis got Bennett. He got Martellus Bennett. got Antonio Brown. So Dennis has an R8 team. His quarterback situation is shaky. His running back 2 situation is kind of shaky. But Dennis has an R8 like overall team. DJ on the other hand, he's got Breezes going up against Tampa Bay. And you know, we all know how that's going to end. Well, how it's supposed to end. You know, because Breezes was supposed to chew fucking the Dallas the fuck up, but we don't know what the hell happened with that. Then he got Chris Johnson. I don't know what's still going on with that. Because it looked like Chris Ivory's going to play. Right now, DJ has Lamar Miller, and of course Miami's they're on a bye week. He has Steve Smith, but you know Steve Smith's good, but it's like, is he going to bring that same performance from when they played Carolina? We'll see. He should keep that. Hopefully, he keeps that going. If he does, they'll be a beast. Then he got Kelvin Benjamin, which was a good pickup. Got Antonio Gates, who's like this year. And then he got Allen Hurns from Jacksonville, which is like, it's a good pickup because I think week 1 and 2, or just week 1, he was going the fuck off. Not sure how many points he scored since then. Yeah, week 1 he went the hell off. Four receptions for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then week 2 he only had 2 receptions for 13 yards. Then week 3 he had 1 reception for 63 yards and a touchdown. And then this week he had 5 receptions for 68 yards. I don't know, because Allen Hurns is one of those firecracker fantasy football players, fantasy football free agency pickups, to where it's like, man, that dude went off, and then it's like, damn, he's not doing shit, but you scared to bench him because it's like, okay, as soon as I bench him, he go off. So Dennis, like I said, Dennis has the better overall team, and DJ has one of his players on the bye week. So going off the projection, the projection ESPN has is 287 to 228. I actually like Dennis's chances better, only because of just DJ's like overall team. His overall team, just because of Dennis's overall team. His overall team is better. His quarterback situation is not better than DJ's. Hopefully Breezes turns it around in Tampa Bay, which should be the case, as it should have been in Dallas. But we will see. It's all the way. That's a game to watch that you'll just be like, okay. That'll be a game to watch. Overall team versus a firecracker team. And then our last matchup, this is one that, folks are going to savor, is I feel like that, it's my obligation to put this motherfucker versus in its place. It's the Champ versus the Commish, the creator versus the creation, the team's defender versus the team's attacker. Am I? That's too much? No more? Just go ahead. Okay, I'm getting the wrap up from my producer. But anyway, Team Soul Glow versus Fuck Affleck. Dennis versus Ray. The frenemies versus going up against each other. That's too much. Another one. ESPN actually has Jared winning 294 to Ray's 236. And I'm going to tell you why. I have one of my players on the bye weeks in my lineup. And that's Mike Wallace. Miami got a bye week. And Jared has Peyton Manning going up against Arizona. And I got Phillip Rivers going up against the motherfucking Jets. So I'm just going off of the quarterback matchup. We'll see. I like Peyton. That's like one of my favorite players, period, ever in all of sports, because we share the same last name. And but they going up against Arizona. Arizona got a good defense. Plus they coming off a pretty good win where they shut down one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Tom Brady. So let's see if Arizona brings that strategy over to facing Denver. I think if they force Denver to run the ball, they'll be okay, which is saying a lot because, it's harder to force Peyton Manning to run the ball. And then He's got Le'Veon Bell against Jacksonville. He should be going off. Chris Ivory, he should kind of go off. Randall Cobb, we'll see. Even though I have Jordy Nelson. So. I'm sorry. I see myself winning this game. Did y'all doubt that I was going to make any other prediction? No. Okay. Yeah. I feel like I got the better matchups, the better players, the better owner, the better looking owner. We got a good moral personality. You know, we diet right, we exercise well, we practice right, we motivated. I believe that, you know, my team is going to get the win. My team will get the win. It's the best team in the East versus the best team in the West. So, that is all my predictions for this week. Got anything to add, producer? Are you walking out? Don't slam that door. Don't slam the door.
Good,
you don't
good
have to do
night.
all that. No! I didn't do my sign off.
Good night.
I didn't do my sign off. Don't you dare turn it off. All right, people. Good luck to y'all in week 5. I will stay here and talk to y'all all night, but my people need me.